Okay, so just a brief introduction. I'm Rashenah, and I teach in Abu Dhabi. I teach geography and English for grades 11 and 12. What I'll be talking about today is geomedicine. And geomedicine is a pretty new concept that's come up. I use it in my geography class, so my girls actually use it in both their English and their geography class. So they had a dual project that they had to do. It came from a guy named Bill Davenport, and what happened to him was that he suffered a heart attack. And he had no idea how he had a heart attack. He was healthy, he worked out, he ate well, he was active, he lived a good lifestyle, and he couldn't understand what happened to him. So what he found out was that his health was directly related to the locations that he lived in. So what I'm going to do is show you just a little video of his TED Talk, and it'll give you the background information on where geomedicine came from.
If you really study that, you might have some clues as to what Paul likes to do. Anybody got any clues? Ski, right? We can zoom in here and we suddenly see that now we see where Paul has really spent a majority of his time, and all those black dots are all of the toxic release inventories that are monitored by the EPA. Did you know that data existed? For every community in the United States. You could have your own personalized map of that. So our cell phones can now build a place history. This is how Paul did it. He did it with his iPhone. This might be what we end up with. This is what the physician would have in front of him and her when we enter that exam room instead of...
Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to stop it here so you guys have pretty much the basic gist of what happened to him and how he's kind of incorporated the location and how it's directly affected his health. So what I did was I thought this was absolutely amazing for my girls with geography. So they have a website that's created for this, and it's on s3.com. If you would like to follow me, please connect to the internet. We have two hotspots. One is the Epic. You can connect to that one. If you need the code for that one, let me know. Or if you want the other one, it's 4903 Savoy, and this one is open, so everyone can get on that one, either or. So if you want to connect really quickly. Is everyone connected?
Say that again.
For this one, 4903, to connect for the web, the internet right now. And once you're connected, if you want to go to the website, it's esri.com. Actually, in a second, I'm going to change this. Okay, this should be the main site that you're going to come up with, esri.com/industries/health/geomedicine. esri.com/industries, STRIES/health/geomedicine. And the great thing about this, everything is already done for you. You just have to apply it. So you'll see him. You'll see his video from TED.com, and you'll see the My Place. If you have an Apple phone, iPad, iPod, this is where you can incorporate it into your classroom. Because most of your students have iPod, iPhone, something. If you click on this one, they will take you to a link that's on the Apple Store. You can download the Esri app. And I will show you that quickly. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not sure why it's not connecting, but if you look it up on the Apple Store, it will be Esri. There'll be several apps, but you're going to click on the one that says My Place History in the Apple Store. When you download it, you'll get a little brown icon. The icon says Esri, and at the bottom it has Place History. Once you click on the map, you put in your location. Any address, anywhere you are, doesn't matter. Right now, where are we? Cincinnati at the Millennium Hotel. So I put in this address, and here we are here. We just popped up on this blue dot. So you see all of the little hazard signs? This is telling you all of the different pollutions that we have around us. So there are several factories and plants around us that are producing pollutants. If you click on each one of the hazard signs, it'll tell you exactly what's located next to you and what pollutants are being emitted into the air. So I don't know if some of you have noticed, but since I've been here and you've been here, you may have noticed your allergies are acting up, your nose is running, you're stuffy, you're coughing. This is why. So you might want to check and see what pollutants are nearby and what you're allergic to. All right. So with this website, there are several things that you can do. What I had my students do was we actually took a field trip, and it's a little different because this is not available where I am, so I had to kind of improvise a little bit. So for my students, we actually have the same thing, but they have centers set up. So there are several different centers that are tracking and monitoring the air quality in Abu Dhabi. So there's actually one center at my school. I'll show you a picture. This is what it's, oops, that's gonna pies. You don't want that. Cherry pie. This is what it looks like outside of my school. They have several different of these air quality registers. And what they do is they test the air quality, and they're testing for several different pollutants: carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide. They also test for sound quality, how much noise is in the area. So what I had my students do is we took a field trip and we visited 3 of these centers to find out what the noise quality was and what different pollutants were in the air. And the students were assigned in groups, one of the centers, and they had to argue which one was the best one to relocate and move into. And I actually also had Daniel help me with this a little bit. He took some field trips with his kids and downloaded the apps. So this is what it looks like there. This is the one in Humden Street. And you can see the air quality. This is over the last 14 days. Unfortunately, you can't go back and look at the history past 14 days, so we had to do it very quickly with my students. But it shows you the different pollutants. So this is for CO2, nitrous oxide, nitrous dioxide, sodium dioxide. So you have all of the different things. It varies based on the location. So this one was in the city of Abu Dhabi. This map shows the Emirates of Abu Dhabi. And all of the green cities have a good rating, while the red cities have a hazardous rating. There's only one red dot. Where is that? Exactly in the middle of the city of Abu Dhabi. So that's where the worst air quality is. And just like any city, that's because they have a lot of traffic, they have a lot of cars, they have a lot of pollutants that are coming from that. This is the carbon monoxide levels from Swayhan, which is the one that I showed you here, which is where my school is located. So you can see that the levels are pretty high. One of these reasons for this is that the school is located out in the desert. So a lot of things it can't help because there's so much sand that's always blowing around and blowing different pollutants. If you look at Abu Dhabi starts out high, but it kind of regulates down a little bit more. And again, this is the city. You have different pollutants that are there, more cars, more traffic, buses, different kind of fuels, petrol versus diesel. So these are some of the things that we looked at. Now, to make it a little interesting for my students, I did it for myself. Now, this is one of the things that you can do on the Geomedicine website. If you go to the map, you can trace your history. And what you're allowed to do is put in 3 different addresses of where you lived at. So what I did was I put in my childhood home, which was in Augusta. Then I went to university at Georgia Southern, so I put in Statesboro, Georgia. And then I put in my permanent address, my home in Atlanta, Georgia. So I have my 3 addresses where I spent most of my time at. Based on that, it creates a map. You can click on each individual address, and this will come up. So this is an address of my childhood home. Tobacco Road is where it was located at, and this is actually a picture of my parents' first house. So from there you can determine the different pollutants that are located by this house. So in Woodcock Court, there are several different pollutants by my childhood home. So what you can do is click on each hazard and it will tell you exactly what it is. So we have thermal ceramics, which is a factory, they release aluminum oxide. Then we have Keebler plants. It's Keebler cookies. They release ammonia. Procter & Gamble, all your Clorox, all of your paper products, all of this, they release lead compounds. Savoy Advanced Polymers, Georgia something, U.S. Battery Manufacturing, and the U.S. Army, which is Fort Gordon. This is the largest military base in the U.S., and they release lead on the military base. So all of these are all located within several miles of my childhood home.
Can you still breathe?
I do have asthma, so this might have affected why I have asthma. Now, let's look at Georgia Southern. Statesboro, Georgia wasn't so bad. We only have one plant, which is called Howard Lumber Company, so we're releasing lead compounds there. So I had a good 3 years of healthy air at Georgia Southern, and then I moved to Atlanta. Now, my heart attack rate in Atlanta, you notice it popped up, is 8.2. So it's quite likely I may have a heart attack. And there are some other plants here. I don't know why they're not popping up. But there are about 5 plants that are located near my house in Atlanta. So we have Peach State Manufacturing, which has copper compounds, Universal Forest Products, Lafarge Red Oak Concrete Plant, Valvoline, zinc compounds. We have all of these different things that are located near my house, and the Chick-fil-A plant. This is actually a good one. They're releasing good compounds from my home. So all of these things are located here. So if you want, you can use Google Maps and locate different things. This is my house in Atlanta, so I located it so that my students can see exactly where I live at. And it looks just like any normal neighborhood. You would never tell that down the street you have these plants from you. And there's the first one, right there, next to my home. So you can see I'm very close. This is why my heart attack rate has increased so much. Okay, so with that, pretty much what you can do is have your students go on different field trips. They can download the app on their iPad, iPhone, any Apple product, and you can test the air quality based on where you're traveling from. So you can visit several different places. I'm not sure how close you are to different cities, but maybe you visit multiple cities on one trip and have them test the air quality as they're going through. Write down the results, and then they can even do a comparison with their own homes and test how safe the air quality is based on where they live at. What I did with that is my students they do project-based learning. So they actually, at the end of the year, they have a culminating project that they have to complete. With the project, they had to, the last trimester was inventions. So they had to come up with an invention. So I had a student that took it all the way to 10. So her invention was that she was creating a chip which could be implanted into cars and factories that would suck up the pollutants. It releases the carbon dioxide into one container and the oxygen is released into the air. The carbon dioxide and other chemicals are used for heating, or they're recycled, or whatever is put back into the system. So she created this chip, and she created a mobile that's showing the different pollutants coming out of the house. So here the house is releasing things into the air. You have boats, cars. This is the city, so you have more pollutants coming out of the city. And she inserts the chip, so wherever the houses are, wherever the cars are, the chip is inserted into each one, and it sucks out the carbon dioxide, releases the oxygen into the air, and then the other pollutants are either recycled or discarded some kind of way. So she did her research, and anytime if you want to look at this, it's very thorough. She has her research, how she research each of the chemicals, what they can be used for if they are recycled. So a lot of them can be used to reheat homes. They can be used for gasoline into cars, different things. So she came up with all these different ideas as to how to reuse the pollutants and to release the oxygen into the air. So that's pretty much it with geomedicine. Do you all have any questions or any comments on how to use this in your classroom or where to apply it within the curriculum for human geo? No? That's it? Okay.
Where do you put it in your curriculum?
For me, I'm going to go back to my notes and cheat a little bit. We put it in topic 4, urban planning and design is where we used it. And that goes with the design that she made and, all the things that she had after that. Any more questions or
I
anything?
would have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You said 8.2, is that out of 100?
That's out of 10.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
And that's very high.
It is very high. And again, these are things you don't look at when you're purchasing a home, when you're looking at apartments, wherever you decide to live. You're not even considering what pollutants are in the area.
And so that's an 8 out of 10 chance in a certain length of time? Or?
You know what? I'm not sure. We can go back and check on the website and see what exactly. Oh, and I forgot to mention one thing. They also determine the walking score based on where you live at. Based on the area, what is the probability that people are walking and not using cars? For Georgia Southern, where I was at, this was a walking campus. So if you're on campus, you cannot walk at all. So at 62, I believe out of 100% of walkability. Versus where I live in Atlanta, nobody walks, period. Everybody is driving or taking, transit, carpooling. Either way, you're going in a car because everything is so spread out. Where I'm at in Augusta, 28% car dependability. So most people use cars. This is another pollutant that I'm dealing with on a daily basis because of where I live at. And we're looking for, here we go, per 100,000 Medicare enrollees. So this is what you're looking at. So it gives you all the information. There's also an ebook. They have the resources for you. As I said, everything is here online. I think it's an amazing tool to use in the classroom. It's something you've never thought about before. If anything, it's great information. It's great for the students. They really enjoy, having something hands-on, especially if they get to see their house on Google Earth. This is the most important thing. So make sure that you include that. And then it's incorporating technology in the classroom. They get to use their cell phones, their iPods, iPads, anything like that. Are there any more questions? No?